Let's take a look now at working with asynchronous values. So I've created a number of files, one corresponding to each value that we get down the stream. So we've got a foo1 through foo5.json that we can then load and open up, see what's inside of them. Each one of them obviously has JSON inside. So rather than returning this array of values, let's return the path to that file. The file that corresponds to this current value, that is. So here we're going to create a string that is that path. So we got foo1 through foo5. Now what we want to do is somehow open that. Right? So we've got a path. How do we typically open files? So let's load up the read file function from node.js library. If you're in the browser, pretend it's not a file, I guess. So I guess in this case, we're typically going to have to say, all right, well, we've got a read file. That's going to take a path, but what it's going to give me back is, what it's going to do is expect a callback, right? So it's going to want me to, throw the error and do something with the data. Unfortunately, that's not really going to give us anything because what we're returning from this map is the actual return value from read file, which is nothing in this case, nothing useful at least. So what Highland has is a function called wrap callback. So let's create our own function. It's going to take a path, and it's going to pass that path to the wrapped callback. Again, read file being a node callback function. So we're going to pass the path right to that. We could do this like so. But we're going to want to be explicit about how we pass these arguments in just a sec. So here we're going to say, all right, read. So that's returning objects. Not really what we expect here. So those objects actually are streams. Each one of those is a stream representing the file that we've opened. So what we're going to need to do is the same thing we did last time with the arrays. We're going to call flat map instead of map. It's going to give us each one of those values, or the contents of each one of those files. Value 1, value 2, value 3. Again, that's the same as saying map sequence. Let's just leave it as flat map for now. And we can get rid of this. Maybe we can shrink this down a little bit. So now just a couple lines of code and we're reading right out of this file. It's pretty amazing, you might say. But let's go another step. Let's load in the request library. Let's use those values to do something else. So let's say we're going to do a get. So we're going to say we're going to take a URL and let's go ahead and call Q .get with that URL. Now this is also going to take a callback. The callback is going to be error, response, and the body. And so again, we would throw the error and do something with either the response or the body. So this isn't just your regular, just run-of-the-mill node-style callback, unless all we want to use is the error and the res and throw away the body. But we do want to use that. So what we're going to do is what's called a mapping hint. So here we're going to say, all right, Highland, wrap this callback for us. But we are going to give it some information. We're going to say, okay, it already knows to get the error off of there. But we're going to say, okay, well, you're also going to get a res and a body. And of those two things, we want the body. Then we'll call it with a URL. And all right, so with each one of these values, let's call our get. So we're going to say, we're going to call flat map again. Say, okay, we'll do a little destructuring and take this value. We're going to say get. We're going to call HTTP JSON placeholder typic code / photos / value. Let's see what we get back from that. Okay, what have I typed from? JSON placeholders.typecode.com. Let's try that one again. All right, we get a bunch back. Now we're getting empty objects back here, which isn't what I expect. So let's take a look at this. I have a feeling that get wants to have to be bound. Maybe not. You know what I think it is? We're just reading this string here, aren't we? So let's do one more thing and say, turn it into JSON. There we go. Now we've got something that looks a lot more like what I expect. So each one of these has an album, an ID, title, a URL, and a thumbnail. All right, that's pretty cool. If we run this, we see that these kind of like trickle in. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's happening here is we're using flat map, which again is map sequence. Sequence meaning one after the other. So we're not actually getting any kind of parallelism or concurrency here. So we can, if we want, we can say run these in parallel, and run 2 of them in parallel at a time. It's a little faster. Probably too fast to see exactly what's going on, but let's say we've got 5 values here. Do all 5 at the same time. Bam! Everything comes through at once. There's no waiting. Everything happens again at the same time. So just again, just a few lines of code, some helper functions. We've taken a few simple values, read from the file system, and gone out and made HTTP requests and gotten meaningful data back. Pretty neat.